My son Nathan. Terry and Donna are doing a great job here, getting things set up, getting ready to execute one of the most, if not the most, important elections in our lifetime. We hear that phrase all the time. You know, we say it every 4 years. We say this is the most important election of our lifetime. This time, it's true. This time, folks, it is true. This president can't run on his record of pro-economic growth because he doesn't have a record of pro-economic growth. Unemployment back up to 8.3%. Almost as many people leaving the job market or becoming unemployed as they are jobs being created. We're on a downhill slide, and it's got to change. 40% of America's businesses are saying that they can't grow and create jobs and expand their businesses because of the health care law. Now, a few weeks ago, the Supreme Court made a ruling. They said the health care law stands. Notice what they didn't do. They didn't say it was a good law. They didn't say it was a good policy. They simply said that based on Congress's constitutional authority to levy taxes, that's what it is. Essentially, one of the largest tax increases on the American people in our history. We've been saying all along that it was a tax increase and that it was going to tax Americans, but the President, Nancy Pelosi, Charlie Wilson, they insisted that it isn't. The Supreme Court said it is. If it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, and it looks like a duck, my mom said it's probably a duck. This is a tax increase. Charlie Wilson, a few weeks ago, in a news article, said in his view, this is a way of directing the American people to accept something, and I'm paraphrasing, accept something that is good for them. See, Charlie thinks Washington is smarter than we are. I don't. That's why I know for a fact that the Supreme Court made their ruling. All they did was rule on the constitutionality of the law. But guess what? The Supreme Court doesn't get the final say. The American people get the final say. A few weeks ago, the Supreme Court spoke. On November 6th, the American people are going to speak. And the first thing we're going to do when we come back into session next year is repeal the health care law. But we're not going to stop there. We know we need health care reform. We know that all Americans deserve access to affordable health care. And that's what we want to ensure also. We just don't believe that the health care law that represents one of the largest tax increases in American history is the way to get us there. What we're not going to do, and what you're not going to see, is another 3,000-page bill that puts a bunch of stuff together that we have to pass before we can know what's in it. We're not going to make that mistake. We're going to look at things like allowing Americans to have more say on health savings accounts, invest pre-tax dollars in health savings accounts so they can pay for some of that health coverage and health care at a much lower cost than buying a big health insurance policy. And even use some of that money to buy a catastrophic policy for things like cancers or heart attacks or those kind of things. Tort reform. Let's keep our doctors in the operating rooms and the treatment rooms rather than in the courtroom. Something that that America learned back in the 1700s when we started this great nation. Competition is a good thing, because competition causes quality to go up, it causes cost to come down, and we're going to put competition back into the process by making health care portable from state to state and job to job. Let's make those health providers, those health insurance insurers, make them earn your business, not just treat you as a captive audience. They need to earn your business. I could stand here all day and talk about how important this election is, but the fact that you are here, you already know that. Ohio is already out leading the nation in the ground game this election cycle. Even in spite of the fact that in some cases Ohio got started off late, we are ahead of the ball game and we're leading the nation in terms of the ground game. That's because of folks like you. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not going to be able to win this election by sitting at home and watching it on TV. It's going to take every single one of us talking to our friends, talking to our neighbors, talking to the people that we work with, talking to our family members. We need everybody to, number one, but number two, we need to demonstrate and show the people how important it is that they look at the character and the experience and the records of the people that they're voting for. What do they stand for? I want your support in November. I'm going to work hard to earn it. For those of you that have already got it, I'm going to work hard to keep it. And we're going to work harder than anybody else between now and November. You're going to see us out here an awful lot. And I cannot wait to see the results that that's going to produce. It's going to be you folks that make the difference. Thank you so very much for being here. I'm proud that we have set our campaign headquarters up right here in Steubenville, aren't you? I don't have my glasses on and I can't read without them. Who's that? Dan, I'll go blind reading through yours. Who am I? Who's in charge of this thing?
It just came together.
Are we? I think we're here in just a few minutes, and we'll wait for a very special guest. Do you guys know who's going to be here shortly? Absolutely, Senator Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. I'll be pleased to introduce him. Anybody got any questions while we're standing here? We'll take a few. Yes, sir.
Could you touch on the death tax, what that's all about?
The death tax is going to go up if we don't do something between now and the end of December, just like all the other 2001 to 2003 era tax cuts. It's going to be a massive tax increase on the American people. We've already sent a bill over to the Senate, and we've told the Senate we will come back. August is a work period for us, but we will come back to Washington and we will work with the Senate to make sure that the American people do not see that tax increase on January 1st. So, but it's going to go up if the Senate does not act. Yes, Terry.
Recently, my 78-year-old uncle was in a hospital, and he just got a letter from Medicare telling him that they will not pay his hospital bill because he was going to walk in and that's part of the scheme there. So, I mean, they actually sent him a letter, and now he's going to pay that.
You know, we got 1 in 3 healthcare providers limiting the number of one in three healthcare providers that are limiting the number of Medicare patients that they are seeing. Access, like she's talking about, is going to begin to be a problem. And do you know who's going to make the decision about what kind of health care you have? It's going to be those unelected bureaucrats, the 15-member panel in Washington, D.C. That's who's going to make the decision. We got to fix that, Terry, on behalf of your relative. Yes, ma'am. We agree. It cannot go on forever. What we've got to do though is we've got to create jobs. We've got to create jobs so that we've got more people paying into the Social Security Trust Fund. Social Security is in trouble just like Medicare is in trouble. It's people like Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, and Charlie Wilson that want to do nothing with Social Security and Medicare that are going to stand by and watch those programs go bankrupt. Our plan is designed to protect Social Security. I've signed on to a piece of legislation and co-sponsored. It's called the Social Security Preservation Act. And it keeps the federal government from dipping into the Social Security Trust Fund to try and fund their pet projects. And we've got a plan for Medicare as well. Right. Yeah, I hear you. Yes, sir.
In terms of Medicare, which you just mentioned, there were the ads that ran last election where it talked about $500 million being cut from Medicare. My question is that in terms of the House Prosperity Bill, which you voted twice for two different versions of that, it does, in the original version, have a voucher where
It's not a voucher.
I mean, premium support system.
Premium support exists today. It's the same type of coverage that exists today in Medicare Advantage and Medicare Part D.
Will it stay up with the cost of the actual health care provided, though, for seniors?
Well, remember, we're trying to drive the cost of health care down. So, I mean, it's a two-front battle. At the same time that we're trying to save Medicare, strengthen and